Hi, welcome to the Sew Along 2018 with GourmetQuilter. We're doing a delicious New Zealand themed quilt as a sew along. We're doing 25 different blocks. We're making a couple of each block. We're using some very delicious New Zealand fabrics by Nutex, and we're just having a lot of fun sewing along. So we were up to block 17 out of the 25, so that's really exciting. So I've already made one of the blocks. We make two of each block. So I've got one sitting up here, and it's looking a little bit like a cotton reel shape. So I think that's kind of fun too, but using these nice fabrics. So if we're going to be making this block, we need to have a couple of shapes like this that form the actual cotton reel. So starting with those, there are notes. If you've purchased the pattern, you'll have the notes already. If you haven't purchased the pattern from GourmetQuilter.com, it's not too late. So you'll have a couple of pictures of the blocks, you'll have some cutting information, you'll have some directions, and the rest is up to you. You need to do all the cutting and sewing. Amazing. So to do the cotton reel, I've already made one piece. I've started on the second piece. So it's a strip of fabric. It's got two squares on the end. So on the back of the squares, all four of these squares, we needed to draw a diagonal line across and then position them onto the strip. So they need to go on so that you sew along that drawn line, and they need to go on in opposite directions so that you get the different corners off. So I've already, whoops, not ready for that yet. Already done my stitching on there. I just need to trim those. Now just to trim 1/4 inch away, I'm using the 1/4 inch line on my ruler to place over my stitching. I'm going to trim off that little corner. We don't need that. And I'm going to do the same on this corner. And now I'm going to bring that iron over and I'm going to just press that. So now I'm pressing those seams this time into the coloured piece, into the rectangle. So that was easy. We've made the cotton reel already. So there's two of those, and they go opposite like that with something in between. So we can pop those to one side. I've already cut out my other pieces. There's some side pieces here that we're going to pop in between, and we've got to make the centre bit, and then there's some bits that frame around the block to bring it up to the size we're after. So to make the piece in the centre, so the centre is like a 1/4 square triangle block, so just a little one. So the best way I found to make that is to start out with 4 squares of fabric, and on the back of two of them, like two each of two different fabrics, on the back of two of them I've drawn a line diagonally from point to point, and then I've drawn a second one 1/2 inch away because we don't need half of each one. So I'm going to do that so that we can trim that off and, whoops, turn that one round. I've already done my stitching on those lines. I'm going to cut them in between, so halfway between the two lines. So you've got a 1/4 inch seam allowance there. We don't need those. So now we need to press these ones. I'm going to press them into that darker fabric. And that one just the same. Press them both the same way. And then what we need to do next is we need to position those right sides together, but we need them so that they're opposite, so that those seams will kind of push up against each other. So we can position them so that they're nestling nicely from point to point. You can usually feel it, get it sitting nicely. And then we need to sew another line of stitching from this point to this point. So I'm going to get my pencil. I like a mechanical pencil for things like this, and I'm just going to draw a line now diagonally there so that we can stitch on it. Now you could do your second line again there if you wanted to save that small amount. I'm not going to on this occasion. I just want to do this seam. So I'm going to go to the sewing machine now and stitch that, and then we'll open that out, stitching along there, and we'll open it out shortly so that we have that centre piece, but we are going to have to trim it to size as well. So I can show you now we've got that nice 4 triangles in a square there. So now we just need to trim off half of it that we don't need, again 1/4 inch away from the stitched line. And I'm going to press that. Now it may be that it's easier on this occasion to press that seam open because it's quite bulky in there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that because it's only small and we don't want too much bulk. So press that seam open now. And now that does need trimming down just a touch so that it's the right size. The measurements are there in your pattern. And now if you use a smaller ruler like this, you need to know where your middle is and things like that, and you can use these diagonal lines that are on the rulers, and that all helps with cutting to size. So I'm just positioning that so that my center mark is in the right place there, my corners are lined up, the diagonals, and I'm just going to trim off the two sides first. Then I'm going to turn that around and trim. So this time I can position it on the lines, on the ruler again, make sure that my diagonals, my center is sitting correctly. So there's lots of little checkpoints to make sure things are sitting nice and square. And we don't need all those bits. And there's my little square for the center. So that's pretty exciting. Got that done already. I'm just going to press it one more time. Wants to press open that one. And so now we're ready to pop the block together. So we've got this and these, and it's up to you which way round you want that to go. We need to make sure that these are sitting either side, so we're going to join those two first, make that center row, then we can join these on, and then we can put our sides and top and bottom on. So I'll go ahead and do that. Three strips together, I've got my seams all sitting reasonably well. I'm just going to press that seam out that way and this one out this way. And our block is looking pretty good. And so now this block has a little frame all the way around it. So I'm going to pop my sides on next. And then I'm going to put the top and the bottom on. So I'll go ahead and get that all done. Sewn my sides on and I've sewn the top and bottom on. It just needs pressing now. And this block is done. So that's it. That's block 17 done. We're doing so well. And there it is up next to its other one. Of course we could turn it around the other way and it probably looks quite different. However, that's block 17 of the sew along done. Thank you, and we'll see you again for block 18.